off will be Luke Akers for Northwestern. Back to return for Purdue, Elijah Jackson. And a touchback to get us rolling. They get C.J. Smith for the first time this season in a Purdue uniform, for the first time overall, the transfer from Georgia in the lineup. They go to the air for the first time, and right on cue, they were looking for Smith. That is incomplete, but they want to unlock some deep threats today. C.J. Smith is one they haven't had all season.
I mean, wide open.
Wide open, yep.
And a beautiful pass from Hudson Card. It was the eyes of Card that actually got Smith open on this whole shot. He couldn't have gone out and handed the football any more accurately to C.J. Smith, but first career reception attempt for the Boilermakers. He couldn't haul it in.
Maccabee finds a hole on the second play of the game in this opening offensive series for Purdue. So that has been a consistent amidst some inconsistency this year. Back to Maccabee right into the teeth of the Northwestern defense that has had their moments when it comes to stopping the run. A.J. Henning is back to return this punt. Man, he was banged up in that game you called a week ago in Iowa City, 40-14 loss to the Hawkeyes. So he didn't return punts in that one. Back to the role that he is familiar with. Could be some decent field position here for Northwestern. The fair catch at the 29-yard line. Just a redshirt sophomore. He's got the captain, Cam Porter, who we spoke to yesterday, next to him. Cam Porter called it a must-win game. Lausch will roll out, dump it off. A.J. Henning in space. They want to get Henning in space, and there you see it. Go to the ground here, looking for some balance, looking for a first down. Not sure if they got enough. To the ground the Cats go. Cam Porter trying to spin his way. It'll be curious where they mark the forward progress here. Right now it looks like they're moving the chains.
Fancy footwork in the hole from Cam Porter. Able to run out of the tackle initially. It's a great look at it from back in the end zone. It initially starts into the A gap, and then a nice little jump cut, just getting out of the tackle of Will Helt. And we know how much Cam Porter looks to finish every single run, even though Dylan Thieneman running the alley, not able to keep Cam Porter short.
Porter had an offer from Purdue out of high school. He was recruited by the Boilermakers. Lausch to the air quickly once again. That seems to be the theme today. They want his legs to be effective as well, and Purdue told us they want to stop Lausch's legs today. Rush four, not much pressure, wide open underneath is Porter. So once again, going to the running backs in the passing game, and a really good chunk there.
Liking the game plan so far from Zach Lujan because it's allowing his young quarterback to be decisive. And, you know, these are some of the moments where perhaps earlier in the season, Jack Lausch looking for that big play, holding the football a bit as he looks down the field, doesn't like what he's seen. Very deep coverage, cover three shown there from Purdue, so dumps it off to Cam Porter to move the sticks.
Lausch has been self-assessing himself each week. It's very candid with the coaching staff about that. I know this is what you want to see, and as he turns the corner, nearly gets the first down. But if they're going to be effective, his legs should be effective. Last week against Iowa, season low, 43 yards and 24 carries for this Northwestern offense. Already turning that around a little bit, and some really good balance early on with these backs getting involved. There is a flag down at the 30-yard line here. After that latest reception, we'll see what the call is after A.J. Henning made the grab.
You go with these run-pass options. Occasionally, you'll see linemen get downfield a bit too far.
Pass interference. Offense, number 87. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's still second down.
They got the tight end, Thomas Gordon.
They run these mesh concepts. A lot of times you're trying to get crossing routes with using big bodies like Thomas Gordon to ward off defenders, making those coverage responsibilities a bit more difficult. This Ryan Walters, Kevin Kane defense is known for being one that's going to play a lot of man coverage. When you use a bunch formation like that, the defensive backs would normally be off, but ends up picking up the flag.
This time, no hole on that right side for Lausch. Lausch well protected as he has been on this series. Steps up, improvises, and they get it all back and more. Down to about the 20 with Frank Covey. Again, no Bryce Kurtz today, so other guys needing to step up. And that was a really big play of 27 on 3rd and 16.
Cadron Jenkins here is going to end up being the penetrator. You get a looper coming around. Northwestern does an exceptional job picking that up, just giving Jack Lausch enough time to climb the pocket vertically. Look at him keep his eyes down the field right there, delivering an accurate strike to Covey.
Lausch pumped up, as he should be. Arm is looking good early. 8th play of the drive coming up here. Early productive start for the Cats. Dumping it over. Oh, they had the tight end leaking out there. Third and 10 here. They've already converted one 3rd and long. Lausch was hit as he threw that into trouble there. And lucky that was not intercepted. Thieneman was back on the coverage. Brings out Luke Akers from 40. Could have been longer. He drilled it. Down 3. Were shut out in their last game against Oregon, 35-0 loss. Reggie Love takes the carry. Hudson Card, mentioned we'd see 2 QBs. He's still in on this series. That ball was slightly underthrown, but somehow still hauled in. It's C.J. Smith. The offensive analyst, Jason Simmons, told us simply, he's different. I mean, this guy, they were so pumped to get him back. Been working on his conditioning, lightly practicing, and here he goes once again on the end-around action there. Former track star in high school, transferred from Georgia. Quarterback's raved about his ability to create separation. Speaking of separation, over on the sidelines. To continue Danny's point, I mean, the variety now that you can utilize in this offense is expanded. Nice little juke move there from Hudson Card. Got hit hard, but he's a guy they want to kind of unlock his legs as well this week. A little shovel out to Reggie Love, looking for the corner. Got dragged down. Nice open field tackle there made by Grayson Metz. Xander Mueller was at 41 tackles when he went out. Metz, one of his best friends, stepping into that role. So on 3rd down now, they go to the air in the end zone, and that is broken up. Theron Johnson on the coverage. Excellent play against Jerron Tibbs to force 4th down.
There are a few players in college football with more pass deflections this season than Theron Johnson. He's able and willing to get physical in coverage. Doesn't mind putting his hands on the wide receiver, and that is completely legal when you're down here. Ball's in flight, both players fighting for it. And yet another time with Theron Johnson able to thwart the wideout.
One of the returning starters at corner. They said he has been extremely focused, especially since the Maryland game. Spencer Porath coming on now for the 26-yard attempts to try to tie this game. So now Purdue will kick it away. On the second series, pass incomplete from Lausch, had intentions for Henning. But a good start for Jack Lausch, who was 4 of 6 in that opening drive. They go with Henning here in space. Brings up 3rd and 10. Third down the Cats have faced today. That ball is complete to Calvin Johnson. Some moves after the grab, and the yak is going to be enough for the 1st down. You see 3rd down percentage, they've struggled on the season, but 3 of 4 to begin the day. Lausch a pump, then looking deep, trying to catch up to it was Henning. Got a little entangled though with Breedlove, who was in on the coverage. Fun start to this game. Hold opens up here for Himon. Up near midfield for the 2nd straight drive. Broken tackle, make it multiple broken tackles. Hyman's on his way to the end zone. What a run from Joseph Himon. 51 yards he goes, and the Cats are back on top. You've
got so many bodies near the line of scrimmage, as is the case for Purdue. then all it takes is a speedy player to break the tackle box. Kadron Jenkins not able to get over the top of the offensive tackle. Nice seal block from Caleb Tiernan. That thwarts the second level of that Purdue defense. And when Himon gets into the open field, we know how fast he is, one of the speediest players of Northwestern.
So now Ryan Brown steps in, who had started the last couple of games against Illinois and Oregon, and Hudson Card was out. We expected for Brown to come into the third series. That's exactly what happens. He is a threat with his legs, brought down by Anto Saka there, who's leading the way on that tackle. Coach Walters told us there were moments against Oregon where he looked like a freshman, had those moments. He is a redshirt freshman. Now they go to Maccabee in the ground game. What do you feel Ryan Brown's bringing to this offense? It's maybe different than when Hudson Card is in today.
Well, happy to discuss that.
We will talk it over.
Yes, sir.
Good balance for his offense so far. 6 first downs. It's Purdue back to work, and the Northwestern defense swarming over there. Coco Azuma along with Metz. Purdue will punt this one away, 4th and 1. Heading back to return again, back in those punt return duties. Crimmon's punt had some hang time, gets inside the 10 and spun down. That was beautiful special teams work from Purdue. Next, Danny, so we'll keep an eye on that. Big Joe Anderson, who's been a key part of the interior of that line for Purdue, and now Northwestern in a position that became all too familiar against Iowa, kind of backed up around their own 10. They had gotten much better field position this week to begin. Olinsky to the air, caught by Covey. Now he breaks the tackle. Purdue having a lot of trouble tackling early on in this game. Did the ball come out at the tail end of that run? Covey had it, lost it. They're pointing the direction right now of Northwestern keeping this ball. Calvin Johnson emerged from the pile with it.
Covey certainly covers the ball up with both hands. It's good hustle from C.J. Johnson. Picking up his teammate there. It's a big hit, setting the edge for Purdue's defense. Smiley Bradford able to come in with the big collision. Calvin Johnson able to get the recovery after the Covey fumble.
Bradford, just a true freshman, stepping into his first start today at that nickel spot. Already making key plays. Now Himon, who had the 51-yard touchdown run, the difference in this game right now, brought down by Yanni Karloftis. Again, mentioned Olinsky in the game now, seeing the 2 quarterback look for both teams. We've seen Lausch, Olinsky downfield, one-handing, overthrown and intercepted. Reggie Love on the carry after the interception from Stevens. Purdue trying to capitalize. Ryan Brown started the last couple against Illinois and Oregon. And now to Reggie Love on the ground. He gets bottled up in the backfield. Northwestern defense ready. Jalen Pate. Let's say hi to Danny.
2 sophomore DBs, Joseph Jefferson and Anthony Brown, surrounded Antonio Stevens after that INT, telling him, "I told you so, I told you so." And then they were quickly reminded by their coach that they should probably have 2 INTs and a forced fumble at this point.
Harkening back to that Dylan Thieneman near interception from earlier in the game, Danny, no doubt.
There have been some near misses in this one. Maccabee in the receiving game accelerates and gets up near the first down marker. Now plenty of time here for Brown. Has to step up and do it on his own. He'll shovel it over to his running back this time. Gets some good blocks. Oh, the hurdle from Maccabee, who was a hurdle specialist when it came to running track in high school.
Oh, you put yourself in harm's way when you're trying to hurdle defenders over near the sideline here. There's Johnson.
Just clipped him.
He's been there before. And Johnson is a big enough and physical enough defensive back where he's not normally going to dive at the shoestrings of tacklers in the open field.
Pads are popping. This time, Jalen Pate got in there again. Immediate impact. On 4th and 4. With Brown, the redshirt freshman delivers, and Darren Johnson came up to make the tackle. What a tackle from Johnson on Rigby, and it'll be short. And now this offense for the Wildcats steps up with some really good field position, and Porter makes the field position even better with a good chunk. Jack Lausch back in at QB after the Helinski interception. Quick throw, was that grab hold in? What initially looks one-handed from Thomas Gordon, the tight end. One of 3 grad students at the tight end spot for the Cats. I think this was one-handed, man.
I mean, he's an exceptional blocker at the point of attack. You see his skills as a pass receiver, though, as well. Able to reach out just that right hand and haul it in. Full extension from Thomas Gordon. No receivers healthy, no problem.
Northwestern felt like they had their best Tuesday practice of the year after they were really motivated on Monday by head coach David Braun walking in, looking them dead in the eyes and saying, what are you going to do with this season after the loss to Iowa last week? Lausch, we know what he can do with his legs. There is a flag back, kind of in that holding zone. So we'll see what this is for. It's at the 50-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 65. 10-yard penalty from previous spot. It's still first down.
The pass rush is beginning to become more impactful for Purdue, and this is where Lausch's mobility showcases itself. For Jackson Carcello, not able to stick with the interior from Mo Amanade on the inside of Purdue's defensive front.
Carcello had to come in for an injured Jack Bailey, who was the starter at that center position, the transfer from Colorado. So Carcello has had to work with multiple QBs in practice as well at the center spot. It's Lausch in right now, using his legs again, trying to get the penalty yardage back. And a fast-moving first half. Oh, just under 6 to go. A really important drive here, too, especially for the Purdue defense. Another good throw from Lausch out of a tight pocket, and then muscling his way down the sideline is Marshall Lang, using all 6'4", 246 there in the weight room to work his way down.
You mentioned what a good pass it is, Jason, because Jack Lausch wasn't able to step into the throw, but then able to feed the ball all the way across the field and hit Lang in stride. And we saw the previous series for Purdue's offense where a tackle ends up getting made short of the sticks because the receiver has to slow down a bit for the football. There, Lausch able to hit Lang in stride on the go as he's sort of fading away from the pass. That is a really impressive ball.
He's been really intentional with his receivers after practice this week. A lot of game speed reps. Some misdirection. They want Porter. Oh, just missed him. Lausch frustrated with himself after that. Timing wasn't quite on, but if it was, that could have gone. Tuck and run here, designed run, some blocks up the middle for him. Porter is the back on 3rd and 1. They hand it off to him. Patient running into the face of Will Helt. They felt all the phases were clicking in that one. Nice scoop up there from Porter, looking for the pylon. Looks like he came up a yard short. But the Cats are knocking on the door on the road here with 3:21 to go in the half.
Really similar look to the previous play, getting Porter in space, reaches for the pylon, but doesn't reach with the football, ends up reaching with his offhand. Gotta remember, the football itself does need to break the plane as well.
The ruling on the field of the runner being short of the goal line is on the further review. The ruling on the field of the runner being down short of the goal line is confirmed.
They do exactly that. Leaping, and looks like he came up short again. 3rd and goal. Porter again, another leap again. And this time the signal is that he's in. Everything confirmed. Now Akers comes on for the extra point. 11 plays, 50 yards. They've been lengthy drives too today for the Cats. A Northwestern group that already has more points than they did a week ago against Iowa in that 40-14 loss. Short kick taken off a hop, and now the Northwestern special teams coming up big. Purdue goes to the ground, and a phenomenal tackle made in the backfield. That time Pate there again, tackling Maccabee. 2-minute timeout on the horizon.
Love the pad level and the energy that Jalen Pate brings to it.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
And now Purdue backed up a bit. It's Card back in. Ryan Brown had taken the last couple of series, finds Max Clare there, who's had a big season leading this team in receptions as a tight end. As they get some of what they lost back. Looks like it's going to be 3rd and very short, 3rd and 1. 1:38 to go. You got all 3 timeouts. Trying to get momentum into the locker room. Desperately needed for Purdue. Card to Clare again. 2nd straight play, and using all of the muscle there to move the pile forward at the tail end. Moving with pace.
Clare really a talented, big framed tight end, team's leading receiver.
Gain of 13 on the last play. Card again. It's Clare again. Now 1st and 10. Best the offense has really looked so far. It's Tibbs, this time through a tunnel and over to the sideline. Their head coach Ryan Walters calling the plays after they moved on from former OC Graham Harrell early on in the season. Another throw to the sideline. That one nearly hauled in. He was looking for you-know-who, Max Clare, for the 4th time. Card again, wants the end zone this time, and almost having to play a little defensive back there was Edgerrin. And now they want to talk things over. Card stepping up, gonna try to use his legs to get the 1st down. Stayed alive at the tail end. He may have come up inches short. They needed 10. Looked like he picked up about 9.5. And now it's gonna be 4th and 1 with 44 seconds to go. Timeout called, so decision time here. They kept it, now they throw it to Tibbs, who has it on the sideline. Out of bounds inside the 10. Beautiful play design there. Kept it again, did Card. Looking at the end zone, just throws that away essentially. There is a flag in the end zone. Hudson Card seems to think it's against Northwestern. Clare was the intended
There is
target.
no foul for pass interference. The pass was uncatchable. 2nd down.
So no 1st downs available to be picked up, so the clock will stop unless they get a touchdown. That last timeout matters.
Pressure comes, one-on-one in the back of the end zone. They call it incomplete on the catch out of bounds from Tibbs. And now on the far sideline, that was Clare who came in motion. They've been looking at him on this drive to the end zone. That time, it is hauled in. Borath on the extra point. And Northwestern is indeed content to go into the locker room. Card returns this week after missing the last couple of games. Ryan Brown has stepped into his place. And now Northwestern will get the ball to begin this 2nd half as Himon takes it up to about the 25-yard line. So now Lausch and the Northwestern offense take over. Had a couple of long drives themselves And now keeping it is Lausch. His legs were a hot topic of conversation when talking with both staffs. Northwestern wants them to be effective. Purdue wants to stop him from doing that. Purdue has lost 6 straight games after the opening win against Indiana State. Must-win atmosphere for both teams today. Low throw, incomplete. Wanted Thomas Gordon. And a quick timeout called early on in this half. To the ground, Northwestern goes. It'll be very close with Cam Porter. The team scrambling to get the right personnel.
And because of the late sub, I mean, Purdue is able to meander their way on the field because when the offense substitutes, the defense has to be allowed to sub as well.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Beat him in. Found an initial burst, and Purdue will have some decent field position moving that pile. Looking at some scores around the Big Ten. Ohio State now up 14-10 on Penn State. They were down 10-0, so they've scored the last 14 in that one as we get a flag coming in. Minnesota up 13-10 against Illinois. Gophers going for 4 straight. Quick flag here on this opening drive of the second half for Purdue.
They're going to try to prove who flinched.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
The 17-10 here, Northwestern up. Hudson Card going back to work down the sideline, and there was some contact, but no flags as of yet. And still no flags. Purdue has felt Jalen Pate.
The previous play is on the further review.
A lot of times what ends up happening where even as you see the ball getting thrown, but you're that step away as a defender, so you're trying to pull off enough or you're not going to drive him into the ground. 6
After
games
review,
player ejected.
there is no targeting on the play. It's 2nd down.
So again, no targeting. Purdue goes back to work. Nice throw over the middle. Hanging on to the football through a tough hit is Max Clare, who was having himself a day. Brought down by Theron Johnson. That was 13 yards, but they needed 15. They need 2 more to get the first down. Card will he try to use his legs to get it. Has to back up and gets pushed out of bounds well short. Brings out Crimmins to punt. A.J. Henning to return. Trying to pin Northwestern deep, and he does just that. The Cats kind of pinned back a bit here. Lausch trying to create some breathing room. Being tracked down by Helt over on the sideline. Since he threw that interception, it's been all Lausch who goes to the air. Has a completion with A.J. Henning. Nice move out to the 24-yard line. Flags come out quickly as the ball was being snapped.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. It's still 1st down.
Northwestern had just 1 false start in Kinnick last week. Felt like they handled the noise of 70,000 people very well. Jack Lausch will dump it over the middle to Gordon. Purdue defense trying to give it back to their offense. Jenkins on the rush. Lausch got it off in time, but Gordon is absolutely met by a host of Purdue defenders out on the edge. And Northwestern going to have to punt this one away. Now this is a punt that takes a hop for Thieneman. He was able to break out of the initial contact, then got hit really hard. Looks like Bruss who came up to make the hit. Hudson Card again, wide open receiver for him. Some athletic balance on the sideline there from Edgerrin, who had a touchdown to catch in the opening half. Ryan Walters took over calling those plays before the Illinois game. Smart, he was the defensive coordinator at Illinois before taking this job, kind of knows the fabric. Put up 49 points against his former team on that day.
Things certainly went well in the second half offensively for the Boilers, and just kind of week by week since then, he's gotten more accustomed to the verbiage, but put his own spin on the Purdue offense.
Reggie Love on the carry. Trying to keep this drive going. This is about where they got stopped on the last time they had the football in the opening drive. And really Hudson Card, his first time in this, what you could call new offense, as that pass was deflected. It's in Card's hands now at the QB spot, goes to the sideline.
Wait a minute, is he actually calling the offense? Couldn't believe it.
You saw it. Well, here's some trickery. They'll flick it back, but this gets blown up in the backfield and some flags down. They had a similar looking play against Illinois where they were able to hit Claire on a deep flea flicker, but Uline was there quickly along with others.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 41. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic, first down.
Engineered, you can see him very vocal here, rolling out, pressure from Pate. Card steps up, deep throw, caught inside the 10, on time to Edrin again. Now Card in the red zone, steps up, trying to keep it alive. Starts to wonder if they go to 86 Max Claire down here. Card goes far sideline. It is caught by Love, the running back. Card steps up, and the timing not there with Edrin. 24-yarder for Spencer Borath, the true freshman. Trying to make it a 4-point game. Buckeye fans feel like they're in a must-win situation today. In-state college, and now dancing in the backfield. They drop down quickly was Lausch. Now Lausch stepping up. This Purdue defense taking things by storm. That just ricocheted into the hands of Karloftis. Then did he lose it? Let's bring Mike B back in. Mike, what do you think of this?
After a quick review, the runner's knee was down prior to the ball coming out. It's second down.
Awkward snap. Sounded like there might have been whistles. There weren't. Throw to the sideline is complete. It's a deep one to A.J. Henning. Momentum shifting play for Northwestern after they escaped trouble on a potential fumble, then a messy snap. Second down for him. Good pocket for him, too. Once Calvin Johnson. Final play of the third quarter will be a big one. Northwestern might have just taken their second timeout of the half. They did. 7 of 10 today on third down. Nice catch over on the sideline. Is it enough for a first down to Henning? See where they mark it as the third quarter winds down. On fourth down and very short. Trying to keep the drive going. They will. Thanks, Mike. Now Lausch gets hit quickly in the backfield. Up until that last Northwestern first down. Now Cats pushed back a bit. Porter back to the ground, but a flag comes out.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 99. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
So fresh set of downs for Northwestern at the 35 of Purdue. Lausch quick keeper. And tracked down by Heltz over there, and Antonio Stevens gets out of bounds after a couple. Lausch dumps it over the middle, and as Marshall Lang. So Lausch to the air to the tight end again, and Marshall Lang able to hang on against Stevens. The efficiency on third down has been excellent today for Northwestern. They want a touchdown here. Broken up in the end zone. Nyland Green. Tie snap was vacuumed in the run from Porter into the teeth of the Purdue defense. Third and long. That play clock winding down. They got the snap. Did they get the snap off here? A flag came flying out.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
See if they bring him here. Another quick stoppage. Northwestern has
Timeout.
used 2 of their timeouts.
Northwestern. It's their 3rd and final timeout.
Well, and now they've used 3. They don't get this. It's 3rd and 14. They did convert on 3rd and 16 earlier. Lausch dropping back and lofts this one up, incomplete, but a flag came out.
Holding. Offense, number 1. That penalty's declined. It's 4th down.
A big kick to try to make it a 7-point game, as long as 43. That was at Maryland's. They'll hand it off into the defense. I got to ask, Ed, why? People need to know why you were pelted by oranges here.
Oh, folks apparently didn't like me landing on Drew Brees' head on occasion. It happens sometimes. And just for clarity, actually, we as a unit from the University of Iowa landed on Drew Brees too frequently. I had a teammate who was pelted by an orange. We never did find the individual who did it.
The guy who's throwing the orange
Still
never gets caught. Yeah, that's the thing. One-on-one matchup down the sideline here. Incomplete, one in Max Clare. "13 yards that time. Back to the air again. Card rolls out again. Able to get the throw off, incomplete. Talked about C.J. Smith. Plenty of time here. Offensive line really holding up now. Bibber with his first grab. Haven't said Maccabee's name in a minute. Lowering his shoulder there. And Maccabee throwing defenders off him. Faked it to Maccabee. Maccabee threw a nice block. Then Card rolls out. Got pressured. Oh, did he find Edgerrin inbounds? Looks like he did. It's a heck of a way to make up for what happened earlier. 13 yards there. Card looking like a veteran right now. Smart to just throw that one away. Good pocket, good throw. It's Bibber on the catch. Inside of the 10. Knocking on the door. They can get a first down without a touchdown. Throw it back. And now they're looking to the end zone. Looks like they might have enough for a first down. Wow. Been a fun game. 5.5 to go. 1st and goal. Ross 8 crowd loves it. Purdue knocking on the door, wanting to tie the game. A big pile up down in the goal line. And it's still moving. I don't believe the whistle ever blew. Freehill kicks it away. Returnable kick. Out to the 23-yard line. Dumped over the middle to Porter this time, over on the far sideline. The systematic thinking on that last touchdown was just going to keep moving people.
Like an algebra equation.
Yep, that was.
Here's point X.
This
here's
equals
point
this.
O.
If I move this guy, then I can maybe do this.
My intersection point is touchdown.
There was a signal on the near sideline, very quick, and it's all Maccabee needed. Under 5 to go. Again, Northwestern used their final timeout very early on in this quarter. Could play a factor down the stretch. Of course, have the 2-minute timeout as well. High snap. And the handoff to Porter again. Got dragged down prior to the yard to gain. Biggest third down of the day for the Purdue defense. Lausch rolling opposite way in which they initially went, and Porter lowers his shoulder at the end of a really nice catch and run to keep this Wildcats drive moving.
It's almost like a goal-to-go scenario on 3rd and 1 because so many bodies of the defenders are between the tackle box. Jack Lausch able to outflank the edge just long enough to get it to Cam Porter in space. And you're waiting on a headache when you got Cam Porter waiting on you in the open field.
Jack Lausch very critical of himself in recent weeks. His head coach, Ryan Braun, said, we need to be better around him. He needs to be better as well. He knows that. And now they have a chance to really make a statement here on the road, but a flag comes flying down in the backfield. Head coach David Braun awaiting the call.
Offense, number 56. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. It's still first down.
So now Lausch 1st and 20. Tried to get the penalty yardage back. So they go to Himon up the middle. Broke 1 tackle, then 2 to get inside of Purdue territory. So now a huge 3rd and 4 for Northwestern. Lausch has to roll out of the pocket. Pressure from Jenkins. Ball deflected. Was it holding on the far sideline? It was not. Calvin Johnson tried to catch it off a ricochet. So now Thieneman back to return with under 2 minutes to go. Purdue with all 3 of their timeouts. Inside of the final 2 minutes, clock will stop as they reset the chains on first downs as well. Quick flag comes flying out.
False start. Offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
As pinpoint as Jack Lausch has been throughout the game, he knows he missed that one right there.
Game clock operator.
He could have gotten that ball to Henning. Northwestern would have been able to continue this drive. Noteworthy, though, Jason, into the face of Dylan Thieneman. This is a sun at this point in the day. We're entering deeper into the afternoon. There were 2 different punts that Thieneman muffed against Wisconsin from a sun a similar height into his face.
Comes up and lets that sail over his head. Northwestern tried to keep it from crossing the goal line. When Purdue was down 17-3, he guided a 2-minute drill drive that led to them being down 7. He's brought him back, now tied at 20-20. Trying to lead a game-winning drive, but brought down in the backfield as the pocket collapses. The Northwestern defensive line stepping up now. Aiden Hubbard in there.
And Hudson Card caught off guard by the defensive secondary of Northwestern. They went man coverage. He hasn't seen a lot of man coverage for the Wildcats secondary in this second half. Forced him to hold the football.
Card trying to stay poised, has to roll it out. Pressure there again. And now all of a sudden, very quickly, 3rd and 14 is on the horizon.
They're gloved up right now. Credit to the Northwestern DBs. Man coverage the first 2 snaps here. A nice recovery game from Jack Lausch. 18 out of 26 so far. Also 26 rushing yards. Hudson Card, though, leading a 17-3 scoring run for this Purdue offense.
If you're Purdue here, could you think of running it? Northwestern has no timeouts, or are you trying to still throw it here on 3rd and 14?
I think it's noteworthy, but Card is not Ryan Brown. I don't know how much he'll gain.
Will dish it out. C.J. Smith on the catch. What can Smith do after the catch? That's going to be the question mark here. Trying to break Darren Johnson's tackle, but couldn't quite get there. Came up about a yard short of getting all of the 14 they needed, but instead, it's 4th down. He went out of bounds.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 58 seconds. The clock will stop for the player running out of bounds. It'll start on my signal, or on the snap, correction, on the snap.
We got the report from Danny Rogers earlier about them working on the lower body, working on the thigh area of C.J. Smith. He's had soft tissue injuries and issues throughout the season. It's why he hasn't been active until today's game. Looks healthy enough right there after the grab.
So Crimmins will come out to punt. Big leg for the Aussie. Henning back to return. 58 seconds left. Northwestern using up those timeouts early on in the quarter. Again, we thought he'd come back to play a role, and it is. Fair catch at the 25. He always dreamt of wearing this uniform. Chicago native flips it off to Porter. Back to Porter again. He does pick up a first down. Clock will stop as they reset the chains. Yanni Karloftis on the tackle. Their kicker, Luke Akers, has a big leg. Hit one from 52 in practice on Tuesday. Now Lausch to the air again. That throw incomplete. Lausch again over the middle to another running back. This time it's Himon. Couldn't get over to the sideline. Did he get enough for a first down is a big question here. The clock is still ticking. He did not. So it is third and inches. So that's why that clock is still rolling. And it's down to 6 seconds, just heaving it to the sideline with 2 seconds left for Calvin Johnson. They're going to have to try to defend here against the Hail Mary attempt from Helinski, who was in. The bigger arm of the two QBs. Short throw, though. And it's hauled in, but at the 15, so it'll just be a stat patter, and we're going to go to overtime.
What's your choice?
We're going to go with heads.
Third? Heads?
Heads.
Heads, what's called? It's heads.
Defense first.
You're on defense first? Which end do you want to play?
Offense for Purdue gets the first crack. Card will flip it over to Maccabee, who had the last Purdue touchdown, gets to the 20-yard line. Purdue team that's lost 6 straight games. Could they be on the cusp of snapping that streak? Card had a little hesitation there, then threw it away. 3rd and 6. Card well protected. That throw incomplete. This could be the game. Right here, they have it deflected and incomplete. What a play, what a stand from Northwestern on a gutsy call from Purdue, but a late flag on the far sideline. The drama of this 4th down not concluded just yet. Purdue is adamant that this penalty is against Northwestern.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Defense number 10. That penalty will be enforced on the succeeding spot.
So Lausch takes over, and a field goal could do this. Porter trying to take it down the sideline. Another high snap, and this will walk it off. Himon finishes it on the road, and the Cats storm the field.